I mean, looking at this from my side, I'd say we're probably 1, maybe 2 weeks out tops from getting some information from Capcom, both regarding the special collaboration as well as Title Update 4 for the game. But I had this thought running around in my head. I wanted to make a really quick video just talking about the timeline of the title updates and what I think, speculation, predictions on what monster or monsters I think are coming to Monster Hunter Wilds before the next expansion, which I'll make a video about in the near future. So, starting at the beginning, Title Update 1, when we only really knew that Mizutsune was going to be the monster here, at the very bottom of this slide, we have Title Update 2, and it says Additional Monster. My guess is that Capcom was probably doing that because they didn't want to jump the gun and announce that they had 2 monsters ready to go, because they might not have had 2 monsters ready to go. But Title Update 2 rolls around, we get the special collaboration with Akuma in Title Update 1, but with 2, we get Lagiacrus and Seregios, so that was kind of the surprise, as well as Arch-Tempered Uthduna, and something I'll talk about here in a bit, which is the Fender special collaboration for Title Update 2. But at the bottom here, we have Title Update 3, Additional Monster. And as I was putting this together, I remember thinking, I wonder if this is going to be another 2 monsters. But in this title update, which is Title Update 3, it shows here that I guess the 3rd monster is going to end up being Omega Planetes. It's the special collaboration for Monster Hunter Wilds and Final Fantasy XIV. And that's coming out. Again, we should probably be hearing something about that, I would imagine, any day now from Capcom. But that wasn't there before. And looking at Title Update 4, it says here Additional Monster. So similar to jumping back to Title Update 2, it says Additional Monster. We ended up getting 2. Title Update 2, we got 2 monsters. Additional Monster for Title Update 3. And then here we are on Title Update 3. So far, it is looking like we're getting just the 1 monster. But then in the Winter Update, Additional Monster, which I'm guessing might be 2 monsters, as well as expanded in-game content, which, again, looking back at this, wasn't there before. So it's probably just Capcom kind of adjusting their timeline based on what kind of things they get accomplished and done. But that kind of begs the question to me for Winter Title Update 4, are we going to get 1 monster or 2? So as I thought about this, I was thinking the Windward Plains, which is the screenshot we're looking at now, is the starting area. It's the ending area for the lore. It's where some of the most powerful monsters like Raydau or Arkveld, got a picture of Arkveld here, got a picture of Raydau, and then also Seregios. All 3 of these monsters are available, and they're kind of like known for, you fighting them in the Windward Plains. And then I was thinking, okay, if we've kind of got the Windward Plains covered, then the next area that jumped out at me was the Scarlet Forest. And with Scarlet Forest, we actually got Mizutsune a bit earlier, but Lagiacrus as well as Mizutsune, both of those are like water aquatic monsters that are really known. Uthduna, but it's kind of new to the game, as being known for the Scarlet Forest. And then Omega Planetes is most likely going to be, if the one image we have of this enemy is going to be the Ice Shard Cliffs with Jean Dahad, and that kind of leaves 2 more areas, right? We have the Oil Well Basin, which hasn't had a new monster yet that's sort of fire or lava focused. And then we also have the Ruins of Wyveria. This is an awesome shot. It's like the only good shot I could find of the Ruins of Wyveria. And that kind of got me thinking that I think one of the returning monsters we might get is, and I'm going to butcher this monster's name, Agnator. I've never heard it said. I was kind of just looking through the catalog of Monster Hunter monsters, and I was thinking, okay, based on the areas that we've already touched, and Ruins of Wyveria is new to Monster Hunter Wilds, what else could we explore? And it kind of brought me to this monster. So I don't know if they're going to add this one, but it's making me think that if we do end up getting 2 monsters, I think 1 is going to be a returning monster, and I think it'll touch on a zone that hasn't seen some attention yet, which it looks like is probably going to be Oil Well Basin, if I had to take my guess. But the brand new monster, if we end up getting 2, I think 1 will be a returning monster like this one. And then I think a new monster is going to be like a siege type event. So Kulve Taroth from Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, was the siege event. Then I won't get into all the details of how that monster worked. But when I was thinking about end game content, I was thinking, Capcom could just, increase the rank again, maybe make 10-star monsters. They could create new weapons and new armor. But I think something that might hold players over in Title Update 4 as they do the next title update, or maybe even start looking at the expansion for Monster Hunter Wilds, I think is having something that is like this massive event that you can kind of come in as a huge amount of players and kind of contribute to build up your weapons and items and get, you know, cool looking armor and stuff. And when I was thinking about this Siege event, and I'm sure people have probably thought of this before, I was thinking this could be a really cool event if they expanded the game to where the Siege event took place over the entire map. And so I pulled up the map of, this is kind of like what the map looks like in your journal when you open it. You have the Scarlet Forest, Windward Plains, Oilwell Basin, Ishar Cliffs, Ruins of Iveria. And the areas I'm going to exclude here is the Grand Hub, because you can't really fight there. The training area, you can't exactly fight there either. And then Suja, the Peaks of Accord, you can't fight there. And I don't think Wounded Hollow counts either. But the point is, all of these main areas that kind of reminded me of what the Guiding Lands was like in World, where you could fight monsters from one area to the next, it would be really cool to me if like the Siege event that they had that was like Kulve Taroth started in Windward Plains, and you fought this monster throughout all the different areas. And so I actually found this detailed map on Reddit, which was awesome. And it made me, this is actually where my idea kind of came from when I was thinking of the Siege event, is how, you know, something would happen in the lore, you'd fight the monster here, and they would be on this track. And much like Kulve Taroth, you can kind of pop in at other moments. And if that were to happen, you could pop in when the team has fought the monster of Scarlet Forest. But ultimately, you're going to slay the monster or defeat it in the end in Ruins of Iveria. And now the thing about Kulve Taroth is we wouldn't see that monster exactly. As far as some reading I did look into, Capcom is not going to be doing Elder Dragons, probably mainly from a lore perspective. So we're not going to see that. But it was getting my brain kind of stirring with regards to expanded endgame. Like, what could we see? And they could just do, like I said, another star monster, or just make Arch-Tempered everything. And that could be what holds people over until the next major content update. But I think something like a brand new fight that just spans the entirety of the map that you've been kind of playing in as the players throughout the entire game, and making it a certain hunter rank, that way you kind of had to have done these hunts and done the story, I think would be really cool. One of the things I really think would be a really cool idea for a Siege event, and something that Capcom hasn't really done much with that I'm aware of as a player, and we might even see more in the expansion, is something that has to do with the climate changing. You know, we saw it in the trailer, and I think to an extent in the Windward Plains, you kind of get these moments of, you know, the weather changing, and now there's lightning strikes. But something I thought coming into Monster Hunter Wilds that I thought Capcom was really going to take advantage of with the next gen consoles that they couldn't do before, is something where it's like an ice environment, and this is going to sound kind of wacky, but an ice environment, and then like a lava monster rolls in and just completely changes the environment. And so you came to the fight expecting to fight something ice related, and now the environment has changed completely. So you'd have to change like what kind of drinks you're taking. You'd have to maybe do something with your armor, or far cast back to camp to change your weapons. I thought that's why you had two weapons, is so that you'd have to like, kind of like Alatreon in a way for Monster Hunter World, like you'd have to bring two weapons to kind of be prepared for any changes in the environment. So that's what's going through my head. I'm thinking, when I'm thinking expanded in-game content, I'm thinking something that kind of takes full advantage of the gameplay mechanics that you didn't have in previous Monster Hunter games. I know, you know, from what I've seen online, people aren't really too big a fan of, you know, the underwater mechanic with, you know, Lagiacrus. I like it because it's just so different than just fighting on land and using your regular rotations. So maybe there could be some sort of sky element. I haven't played other Monster Hunter games where there is a sky element or some sort of like flying component. But yeah, that was kind of what was running through my head. That's it. I wanted to make, just like I said, a really quick short video talking about Title Update 4, what my predictions are. And I'm going to be watching some other videos. I'm kind of curious if people come across this, you know, what ideas do they have? You know, do you think that there are going to be two monsters? Do you think it's just going to be one? Are you looking forward to Omega Planetes? Is Omega Planetes going to be kind of like Behemoth, where you need to fight this thing in a group? You know, you can't fight it solo. Yeah, let me know what you're thinking about Monster Hunter Wilds Title Update 4, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.